Right. Here we are. So we're going to be doing graphing radical functions to help you in your homework assignment today. And so our basic parent function we already did, so you can check your notes for number 2. Number 1 is just like number 2, but a shift upwards. And so if you want to make an XY table, that'd be a smart thing to do on each of these, but you don't have to. You can use your graphing calculator. But we are going to grade for accuracy on these radical equations, square root equations, so make sure that you are accurate. What I mean by accurate is, let's see here, so a -1 will not work, but maybe a 0, a 1, 2, maybe 4. So -1 would be undefined or not a real number, so we're not going to graph that one. There we go. But at 0 we can start, and so we plug in a 0 into our equation. Or you can come down here and actually write that out. So we do the square root of 0 and then plus 1, and so that's just 0 plus 1 is just 1. And then put a 1 in there, we get 2, put a 2 in there. Ooh, that's going to be a weird number. I think from class we figured out it was 1.41 is the square root of 2, so I guess 2.41. Put in a 4 for x, and we get the square root of 4 plus 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So, oh, and it's just a shift upwards, isn't it? Just a shift upwards 1 from the parent function. So right here, and then over 1 up 2, over 4 up 3 is the correct graph there. Okay? And again, the parent function, or problem number 2, is down here actually, with the origin down here. That's problem number 2, just the parent function. But problem number 1 is right there. There we go. And so then, let's see. So now the domain is the x values, right? X values. So you want to think like x equals 0 and x equals 1. So we start off as 0, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes forever to the right to infinity. So we're just going to say the domain is from 0, including the 0, so bracket, to infinity. And another way to write that we need to get in the habit of is all real numbers x greater than or equal to 0. So you can write either of those, and you will get it correct on the homework. Just be aware on the test you will see multiple choice options with all numbers greater than or equal to 0. You'll see that not all over the place, but maybe in 1 or 2 places. For the range then, home on the range, so that would be the y values. So instead of going up and down like my green lines there, we would be starting off with the blue lines, so going with the y values, right, where it touches there. Now it looks like it's never going to get to that 4, but eventually it will, right? Eventually it will. You probably need like maybe 16, and the square root of 16 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So yeah, it's going to get up to 5. It's just going to be like way over there, right? It'll eventually get there. So for the range, it will eventually get to the biggest number you can think of, which is infinity. But we do start off at y equals 1, right? So at 1 right there. That's the number 1. And so we're going to start there at 1. And so we're going to go from 1 and then upwards, going upwards to infinity, right? So we'll say all values y greater than or equal to, so we want all values of y greater than 1, greater than or equal to 1. So that's our 2 different ways that you can write your range. And so up to you there. And so just be aware of how to write both of those. And so let me just pause it here for a second. Okay, so we'll look at maybe a more difficult or harder one, maybe like an x cubed one. There we go. So you can do an xy table once again, or I will show you how to do it on the graphing calculator. So for example, let's see. So I'm guessing the number 4 is just going to be a shift up 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, or up 5 rather. So up 5. And then since it's only a shift up 5 because our k value is plus 5, that means you go up 1 over 1 and then over 4 up another 1. So there's your graph for number 4. The domain is all real numbers greater than z, because that's a 0. Yeah, so all real numbers. So x is all real numbers greater than or equal to 0. Or you could say 0 to infinity if you wanted to. So it looks like the domain didn't change, but the range does. The range is all numbers greater than or equal to 5. Or going from 5 upwards to infinity. But number 3, x cubed, is going to be kind of a cool, funky one. So you need values such as 8. So I'm going to choose the value 9. What's another cube root? 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. So I'm going to choose 28. Yeah, that's kind of a weird one there. So maybe 9 and 28, maybe negative 9. So if we plug those in, we get, oh, maybe it's actually not a negative 9. How about a negative 8? Yeah. So at negative 8, when you plug in a negative 8, you'd get a negative 9. And the cube root, no. We need it to be a negative 8. How can we do that? Oh, a negative 7. So you do have to choose funky ones, or just use your graphing calculator. So negative 7 would be negative 8. And then the cube root of negative 8 is negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. So negative 7 down 2. And then let's see here. So then for 9, it'd be 9 minus 1 is 8. And the cube root of 8 again is 2. So 9 up 2. Cool. So this graph's looking kind of funky. And so at x equals 1, maybe that's another good one. So at x equals 1, we'd have 1 minus 1 is 0, and the cube root of 0 is just 0. So at 1, we get 0. So the graph is going to do something like that, crossing through like that. So I'll do more of those in class to help you there. But to show you where it is in the graphing calculator, you'd actually go to y equals. You clear what's in your graph there. And so the cube root is actually under the math button. So the math button, and then you see it right there, number 4, option number 4. So you're going to do the cube root of, and then x minus 1. Cool. And you're going to go ahead and graph that guy. And it's freezing on me. But just trust me, it does go all the way. I need to restart my computer. It does go all the way through at that value there at 1. And then carries on going upwards. Alrighty? And so that's how you do those ones. So try doing each of those using your calculator there. And yeah, looks like there's lots of graphing. Don't forget your domain and range. So all the cube root ones, they're actually pretty easy. It's really just going to be all real numbers. And for the x value, all real numbers for the y value. So these ones are actually really easy. And just all the cube roots ones, the domain and range are really easy. And the reason why, for example, this one, you need a positive 2 to make it 0. So it's going to cross at positive 2, 0. And then it'll end up being something like that. Use your calculator to be more exact. But you'll see that it is going to go to positive infinity forever. And it is going to go to negative infinity forever, as well as going down over. So it is going to go down. These numbers are eventually, it's going to take a long time, but eventually you will go down to negative infinity. And eventually, it's going to take a long time, but you will go up to positive infinity. So all real numbers, or you could say like, negative infinity to positive infinity, negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay? So that'll help you with that one. And then last but not least, so these ones, a little bit tricky. I'm going to do like one of the crazy fraction ones. But don't forget how to do these. So here's number 17 to help you. So we set that equal to 0 and add 5. So we get 2x is equal to 5. Yeah, so set each of these equal to 0. And so then we divide by 2, divide by 2. So we're actually going to use 5 halves on these guys. This is a good review. Doing synthetic division. So we'll bring down the 2, the negative 9. Oh, there's not an x to the first power, so we'll put 0 and then 15. So we'll bring down the 2. And then you're actually going to multiply those. So 5 halves times 2 is actually 10 halves, which is just 5. And then negative 9 with a 5 is a negative 4. And then then 5 halves with negative 4 is actually negative 20 halves. And negative 20 halves is just negative 10. So bring down negative 10 plus 0 is negative 10. And then 5 halves times negative 10 is negative 50 halves, which is negative 25. Negative 25 plus 15 is what? Negative 10. So we are starting with the, go one less than the power there. So we're going to do 2x squared minus 4x to the first power minus 10 with the remainder of negative 10 from here all over the divisor, which is 2x minus 5. Okay? So there's your answer there. Is it a factor? Well, it's got a remainder, so that means no. So don't forget your yeses and don't forget your nos. Right? Check number 18, see if it is yes or no there. Thanks for watching. Hope I helped you there with graphing, and definitely come see me for help if you need it. And hopefully you get your graphing calculator work, because mine froze on me still. Look, it's frozen. That's because it's the turtle off of the Flash. You know the arch villain, the turtle? And he sends out his pulse waves and slows everybody down. You gotta, oh, sorry, I won't say anymore. You're not that far yet. So definitely watch that on Netflix, everybody that's watching this video. Woo! Tell me what you think. Email me. All right, peace out. Thanks for watching, and have a good weekend, and see you soon when this assignment's due. So get her done. Bye for now.